think about it. When last did you see somebody reading a book? I mean, like, literally reading. Hello. Today is day 37. Yes, today is day 37. We are moving forward. So today we are going to talk about the power of reading. Yes, the power of reading. And yesterday we talked about the power of learning, and since that yesterday I've kind of been thinking about reading, because I did mention reading as one of the tools that we use in some of those methods that I mentioned about the methods of learning, like being self-taught and even the conventional, kind of learning. If you don't know what I'm talking about, or if you didn't catch up with us yesterday, you can still do so. I'm going to link it in the description box so you can still catch up. So that's just what made me start thinking about reading. And I was just thinking that reading is very, very important in learning, because when we read, we are able to widen our knowledge, broaden our knowledge, broaden our scope. As a matter of fact, I think there is, I don't have the statistics, but I will assume there's a book about every topic under the earth. But apart from learning, I just found out that there are so many other advantages to reading. So, that makes reading so powerful. And one of the advantages that I found out is that reading relieves stress. It relieves stress. And of course, when I'm talking about reading, I really like to differentiate between reading for pleasure and reading for reading for entertainment and reading for knowledge, because now I'm kind of lumping everything together. I'm not differentiating it, because reading for learning is on one side, reading just for the pleasure of reading and enjoying a subject matter, that's another thing. So the two go hand in hand, actually. And I find out that when I read, I kind of, it's relaxing, it's relaxing for me. And another thing that reading does is that it helps people to sleep better. This should be pleasurable reading, though, not the kind of reading that maybe you're trying to pass an exam or something, So I don't think that will help us to sleep better. But yeah, it's been documented really that if you read like a few minutes before you sleep, it's because reading needs focus and concentration, so it kind of relaxes you and makes you to sleep better. And it's no wonder, because sometimes when you pick a book, you just fall asleep, right? That happens to most of us. And so reading helps, and it's also been documented and scientifically proven that people that read, they tend to have less depression. This one is actually, it's been documented. It's a study. I'm not going to bore you with that study, but you can go and read about it yourself. Did you get that? Read. Go and read about it, So reading has so many of these advantages. And my Pastor Greg Erabo, used to say something. He says reading makes a ready man. And I mean, hi, if you are watching, Pastor, the remote possibility that you are watching. And I think the saying is attributed to one Sir Francis something, I've forgotten the surname. So he's the one that said that, I think Francis Bacon or something, that reading makes a ready man. And what that means is that reading just makes you ready, it makes you robust, it makes you confident, it gives you a wide range of abilities and knowledge, and so it makes you ready for any situation. And that is so true. But alas, As powerful and as advantageous that reading is, as we have highlighted, I found out that most of us don't read. Moi included. Most of us don't read. We don't read. Reading is fast becoming like a relic of the past. It's fast becoming an outdated thing to do. Reading is fast becoming something that has been relegated to the past. And, the habit of reading is just kind of disappearing from our society. Think about it. When last did you see somebody reading a book? I mean, like, literally reading. When last did you see anybody around you, think your family member or were reading in sense that, okay, maybe they are not reading for an exam or something. They're just reading for the pleasure of it, for enjoying or for wanting to acquire knowledge or something. Or let me ask this one more specifically. When last did you read a book? A book that doesn't have to do with maybe your profession, you need to deliver on something, or you need to pass an exam. When last did you just take a book on a particular subject and said, let me just read this book and enjoy it and learn from it? When last? If we all have to ask ourselves that question, I know my answer. I know my answer. The thing is, it has been scientifically documented as well. I actually went to read studies, that show that people have stopped reading, or the level of reading has declined. And there was one particular one that says, they asked adults, this was done in the US too, how many books have you read in the last year? And less than 50%, it's like 48 point something percent, said they read one book in the whole year. That was the study was done in the year 2022. One book in 1 year, less than 48%. That is very disheartening. Like, I'm not talking about 2 books, just 1 book for the whole year. And it's not surprising because even me that I'm talking, because I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself, I've been struggling to read, because I remember in those days when we were growing up, we used to read. You would read, you would exchange books with your friends, you would sit down and read and stuff like that. And these days I don't even see children reading. Even children, adolescents, everybody is just glued to their computer or their phone or whatever. Nobody's reading again. So it's a bit of a sad situation. And I was just wondering that what could be the reason. For me, I don't have to look far, because even just for my own life, I can see some of the reasons. And the first reason is that we are too busy. I don't know, we are busy doing whatever. Busy. We can't just stop to just sit down and read. Because again, like I said, reading takes time. It takes effort. It takes focus. You cannot be distracted and reading. For example, as I'm walking now, there's no way I'm going to be reading while I'm walking, or I'm driving, I'm reading. So if you're going to read, you have to kind of shift your attention from everything and focus on the book. So because of that, I think for me, that's one of the things, to find the time to actually sit down, right, and actually read the book. It's like an Herculean task. I mean, you hardly find time. We are so busy doing this, doing that, doing all the hours of the day are occupied with one thing or the other. So everybody, like, life has become more complex. Everybody is so busy these days that we can't just breathe and just take that time to read. So I think that is one reason. And another reason I find, looking at myself too, is also distraction with maybe other forms of entertainment, because of technology and stuff, like maybe phone, social media. A lot of people just scroll. I also scroll. Everybody scroll. It's just that everybody has what they scroll about, And also maybe the advent of other entertainment platforms, like maybe media, film, movies and stuff like that. So those things have kind of replaced reading in a way. So those are the two things I see: distraction, and we are not able to focus, and also we have so many other forms of entertainment. And another thing is, I mean, just sheer laziness, to be honest. Just sheer laziness, because we just don't want to sit down and do this. And all these things I'm talking about, it's not just me, it's been corroborated, even because when I went to now find out, okay, apart from what, just looking into my life, I went to find out, like, what does the research actually say about the reason why people are not reading anymore. And all these things I've said was corroborated. The same thing that they found out, that people are living too much complex lives, too busy, people are easily distracted. In fact, there's one saying that says the attention of the average person now is like that of a jellyfish. So they need fast, even if they're looking for information, they just want fast things to just look and check and go. Nobody wants to sit down and really delve into any book and read or whatever anymore. So all these things have also been corroborated, like the advent of social media, the advent of technology, and all these things in our lives really prevents us from being able to sit down to read. So yeah, I just said, let me share these thoughts with us. I don't know how we are ever going to bring reading back into our society, at least to the levels it was before, because it doesn't mean that some people are not still reading. Obviously, some people will still be reading, but for someone like me, I used to be an avid reader, but now the level of my reading has dropped. For some people, they are not even making any attempt or reading at all. So my question to us today is, how can we bring reading back? Do you even think reading is important, or you feel let's just stick to all the other things that we're doing, don't need to read anymore? And I know that even these days there is not just the paper, like the hard copy, the book, the reading. There's also e-books. So that's an advantage of technology. There's e-books, so you can actually also read on your phone or tablet or whatever. And another thing is, there's also audiobooks, because I have found some success in that. To be honest, sometimes I actually do listen to audio instead of, because if I don't have time, because the audio, you can of course be listening to it while driving or while walking. So that's one way that I think we can read. So I don't know if you know other ways that can help us to read, but that's one way that has helped me. But the only thing is, nothing quite beats that hard copy. That's like my daughter would say, the smell of that book, that print. And nothing quite beats that thumbing through the pages and just relaxing with a cup of hot chocolate or whatever it is that you like to drink, and just sitting in a chair, cozy up, and just read and just enjoy the book. Nothing quite beats that for me. But again, they will say half bread is better than none. So even if we can't do the actual like physical hard copy, but we can still use audiobooks. So that's my question. Do you have any other way? Let me know in the comment section if you have any other ideas that can help us to be better readers. And another question is, how can we encourage our children to read more in this age of social media and technology, film, games, good stuff? How can we encourage our children to read better? This is another question that I have for us. And I just hope that this will gear us up to read more. I don't know, I'm encouraging myself too, because there's this book that I've started reading, and I've started reading this book forever. I've not even finished it. I've been reading this book for more than 2 months now. Can you imagine? Before, I would have finished this book in maybe even 2 days. The book is Atomic Habits. My pastor kind of did a summary of the book with us, and that kind of heightened my interest about the book. And then I actually went out of my way, went to buy it and everything. And then I started reading it with enthusiasm, and then life took over. And then I have the book on my bedside table, and then sometimes I read it and leave it, and then I take it and read it, and I've been just on and off. So I hope that this thing that I'm talking about will make me to go back and actually complete the book. So let's give ourselves assignments that we should read. Maybe I've done that before. It didn't work for me. I don't know. Maybe if you have any other way that will help, I'll say, oh, I'm going to read 2 books this month. And then the month goes by and I did it out before that I did not read anything. Well, that's it for today. Today is a lot of questions, a lot of wondering, and a lot of just trying to figure out what can be done about this. At least if I cannot get anything across to us today, I want to just say that reading is very powerful. From all we have said, we can see either in terms of learning or in terms of entertainment, and also has so many other advantages I've already outlined. So let's try and revive this lost art of reading. And that's all I have for us today. I'm going to see you also when I'm done. Let me see how far I've gone. I'm back. There you go. So today we've talked about the power of reading, and let me know what your thoughts are about this topic in the comment section below. And if you've been getting any value from this video so far, please like, share with your friends and family, and subscribe to the channel. And if you've made any resolve to start reading or read more, let me also know in the comment section, and let me know how you plan to do it, because he's not just saying it, guys, because I've said that so many times. Please let me know how you plan to do it, and maybe I can copy you and get some success as well. So I'll see you tomorrow.